Among the nominees at tonight's Oscars, a film called Mr. Nobody Against Putin. Elizabeth Palmer tells us all about it.
Right after the 2022 invasion, Karabash Elementary, like schools across Russia, was ordered to indoctrinate these young minds with a so-called patriotic curriculum. Pasha Talankin, the school's videographer, was assigned to shoot it all, to prove to Russia's government that the school was towing the line. But Talankin, much as he loved his students, hated the war and felt trapped.
Я люблю свою работу, но не хочу становиться пешкой режима.
Talankin also hated the way his colleagues were forced to parrot the state's propaganda. So he decided he would record everything.
Да скажите просто денацификация.
Not just for the government, but to show the world. Talankin and the documentary's American director David Borenstein spoke to us in our London office.
When the teacher had to say Ukraine had taken the path of neo-Nazism and neo-fascism, and we must liberate it, at that moment I understood that I had no moral right to delete this material, because it is part of the evidence of what's happening in Russian schools today.
I don't think Pasha even knew, none of us knew, that this film would ever come to anything when we were making it.
The two met online and agreed to make the film. So for 2 years, Talankin kept shooting while Borenstein directed remotely from Europe. He recorded everything: pro-war student assemblies, Putin's paramilitary Wagner group showing up to give weapons training, and the day some of his students were drafted to fight in Ukraine.
When Pasha picked up the camera, it was because he felt he was trapped in this Kafkaesque system. He says it in the film. He says being a propagandist at this school is like walking a tightrope.
The stakes were huge. Talankin could have faced life in prison if caught, especially as he kept drawing attention to himself with small acts of rebellion, like playing the Star-Spangled Banner instead of Russia's anthem on the school's PA system. Did you ever think that you'd been, the Brits would say, rumbled, that they were onto you?
Sometimes I thought so. In Russia, you never know. No one will call you. No one will knock on your door. They just watch. And then suddenly break the door down, throw you on the floor. And your floor is the last thing you see in your apartment. That's it. You don't exist anymore.
In the West, Mr. Nobody Against Putin is a triumph. Most recently, it won Best Documentary at the BAFTAs, the British Oscars. But in Russia, the Kremlin claims it's been just too busy to watch. Talankin's mother, however, a crusty librarian who appears in the film, has managed to see it. Она видела фильм?
Конечно.
Да? I asked him if she liked it.
Yes, well, we don't talk about it directly, but she did give an interview to the New York Times and said she liked the film and that she's proud.
Eventually, though, the whole charade became too risky. Talankin booked a fake holiday to Turkey and escaped. Now in exile, he is a very public critic of a sometimes vengeful Russian state. How safe do you feel?
Probably 80% safe.
Talankin mourns for the kids he cares about so deeply, and whose future, he fears, has been poisoned by Putin's nationalist lies. I mean, you've achieved something amazing.
This is a very important document because it shows what Russian society will be like in a few years. Putin may no longer exist, but society will be evil because propaganda entered schools and was taught to children.
This film focuses on the children, But it reveals a lot about the cameraman, too.
It's also, to me, a story about resistance. Everybody faces a moral choice, wherever you are. And this is a story also about what you do when there's a government around you tearing down everything that you have built up.
When the time came, Pasha Talankin made his moral choice, to resist. He's Mr. Nobody no more.